I apologize for being an American who speaks only English. We're obnoxious that way. I decided to bring my glass because I could show off and also make a point. So I'm going to show you how it works now. It's on. You do this stupid thing. You turn it like this. And I'm going to say, is it on? Okay, glass, take a picture. And it did. Okay, glass, take a picture. No, it didn't. All right, hold on. Okay, glass, take a picture. Take a picture. It listens as well as a child. My point in wearing this, besides showing off, is to reiterate something that Vint Cerf said this morning. He thought that he had finished the internet, and he hadn't. The internet isn't done yet. We don't know what the internet is. We have no idea yet what it is. In the terms of Gutenberg, it is the year 1752, or 74, let's make it. But we still don't know what it is. Glass comes along, and I don't know what that'll really be. It's a little awkward, but imagine in the news business if witnesses in Tahrir Square are wearing glass and can share that with the world immediately. That changes our view of the news. Imagine the world that Vint Cerf puts out, that we have sensors of an Internet of Things everywhere, and imagine what that does to our sense of news. So I think it is too soon to decide that we know what the Internet is. It is too soon to decide that we know what the models are that will work and won't work. It is too soon to try to slice up the Internet and decide who owns what part of it. We don't even know what the Internet is yet. And that's the most important thing I think we can say, which is not very comforting because we're still very confused about where we go. I was delighted to hear from the esteemed panelists a lot of very realistic talk about where we are, right? Classified revenue being dead, the difficulty of integrating a newsroom, I think especially here. The notion that there may be too many periodicals, too much content, that's pretty revolutionary to say. The difficulties in working with technology. This is very realistic talk, and I think that's very good. I also want to acknowledge that coming from America, I know what a different media market it is from Europe. We don't have the strong national brands that you have. We didn't have it until the New York Times could become national in the 70s. So it's a very, very different market, and I'm aware of that. But I think there are things to learn from America. And we have a saying in English about the canary in the coal mine. When you work in the coal mine, you take the bird. If the bird drops dead, you're in trouble. You better get out of there. Well, America in media, I think, is the canary. That even though we're different, you can look at where we are in media and see the danger that lies ahead. And in America, things have been very, very bad in news. But we have some hopes. A friend of mine, John Payton, runs Digital First Media, and he really is making the company digital first. I see companies in the US where the paper is becoming a byproduct. The company becomes a company that produces news and information. The paper is one client of that. That's a very hard cultural thing to do, to change completely around and decide what your primary job is. That's what I want to talk about for just a few minutes. We're talking a lot about copyright. We're talking a lot about protection, about ownership. We heard the senator talk about trying to divvy up the internet with the help of government. Well, I want to propose this idea. We are not in the content business in news. In news, we're in a service business. And our goal is not to manufacture papers every day. It is not to put out so many stories and get so much of a mass every day. Our goal, I think, is to serve people and make them informed. And our business opportunity that lies in that is that for the first time, we can stop treating the people as a mass, as if you are all the same. And we can learn, pardon me for this, from Google about treating people as individuals. I was at a Big Ten event with The Guardian in New Delhi a few months ago. And of course, the belief in our business is that we have gone from print dollars to digital dimes to mobile pennies, right? Hubert Burda in Germany says those damn digital pennies. But at this Big Ten event, Eric Schmidt took out his mobile phone. I presume it was an Android, I don't know. And he said that this would be more valuable than the web. Why? Because he said, we know who you are and we know something about you. And no, he wasn't the NSA talking, he was Google talking. But because of that, this phone is not another way to deliver content. It is a way to get to know people and deliver them relevance. What I tell Google gladly in a transaction that is open, unlike my government, which I'm very ashamed of right now for spying on all of us, But when I tell Google where I am, it's so that I can ask a question and get a relevant answer. I can get directions to where to go or where to find the best pizza, which would be very hard to answer in this town. I have a transaction there that Google gets to know me so that I know something. Thomas Drake, who's one of the leakers from a few years ago about the NSA, said recently that the NSA understands that content is gold for indicating intention. So the NSA understands the real value of content is to get to know people. Google understands that, but we in media, ironically, don't understand that. We have this gold that can tell people exactly what they want to know, when they want to know it, give them context, understand them. So my belief is that we have to move as an industry from just being a content factory into becoming a relationship business, where we start to know our readers as smaller groups and even as individuals. And we have the tools to do this because we know what they care about. We know what they read, we know what they don't read. That can change the way we do business in terms of the content side and what we do, but it can also change it from the business side. Because my fear for us, I admire Google. I'm here today to talk about Google. I wrote a book called What Would Google Do? I think it's still available in your language. But I'm afraid that Google is going to eat our lunch yet again because Google understands the power that this creates to establish relationships. Now we can look at that then still as an adversarial relationship, as a fight. Remember what Vince Cerf said this morning, that fights cause conflict, or change causes conflict and fights. But we don't have to do that, as I just heard. It is possible to find ways to work together. I've heard the rhetoric all day of trying to work together with digital leaders, and I think it's possible. I think that if we in media can start to learn the lessons about how to get to know people one-on-one, about how to do that responsibly, as Vince Cerf talked about how to take advantage of that in terms of giving people relevance and higher value for what we give them, and finally about how to get value out of that for advertisers. And I think it is too soon to give up on advertising for our business. I think advertising will still be a major support. I guess the last thing I'll say, and I'll be the one person today to try to make it out of here on time so you can get to your cocktails, is that there is no single easy magic bullet to save our problems in news. It's not paywalls, it's not legislation, it's not bribery, it's not the French model, it's not the German model. The only thing that is going to work is brave innovation. And innovation means risk. Innovation means we will fail. I guarantee it, my friends. We will continue to fail at things. But in there, we will learn lessons and we will succeed. And if there's any lesson we can learn from Google, it is the need to constantly innovate, to invent crazy shit like this. Right? This is nutty. And maybe this will go nowhere. I don't think this is the segue, by the way. I think this is the next Newton. I think we'll look back on this fondly and say that we remembered when this really clumsy, silly thing came out, but imagine how it changed. Well, we in news have the opportunity to learn those lessons through innovation. So I urge us all to have the bravery to continue to innovate and not just think that we're in the content business, that we're in mass media, that we're in the old business we used to be in. We have to invent new businesses. Thank you.